สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I want to show you how I make my vegan red curry. I know many of you who follow the show are vegan, but I'd like to suggest that instead of just taking any of my curry recipes and just switching out ingredients, there are lots of little tricks and tips you can follow that will really maximize the flavor of your curry. In fact, I fed this recipe to my very decidedly non-vegetarian friend and they loved it, did not miss the meat in it at all. And in Thai, by the way, this dish would be called แกงเผ็ด มังสวิรัติ แกงเผ็ด is red curry, and มังสวิรัติ means vegetarian in a general sense. There's no word in Thai that means vegan in the specific sense that the word vegan means in English, so we'll stick with มังสวิรัติ All right, let's get started. So personally, I think the most important decision you can make in making a vegan curry is what kind of nuggets are you going to put in it, because that really affects the character of the curry. So I'm going to show you what I like. Shiitake mushrooms, and specifically dry, not fresh, because dry shiitake mushrooms, they have this really intense earthiness and a chewiness that the fresh ones just don't have. So specifically, that's what I'm looking for. And so what you do is you soak it in hot water and they'll bloom and swell and become this nice chewy, meaty, like texturally meaty mushrooms. And so what I want to do at this point is I want to squeeze out all of this water, and we're keeping the water, by the way. I want to cut it by first removing the stem, which I find pretty tough, and just do slices, not too thin. Again, you want this to be substantial, a little bit chewy. There we go. Now, the other vegetable that I like to use is bamboo shoots, and you can get it in cans at any Asian grocery stores. Right out of the can, they've got a smell that can be off-putting for some people. So what you want to do is really wash it well, and then I boil it in some water for about 5 minutes, just on a simmer, and then drain it and wash it one more time, and that will get rid of a lot of that sort of bamboo smell. I don't know how else to describe it. Some people don't mind it. In that case, just give it a quick rinse, but I think it's always safe to do that first. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna put in my curry is tofu, but a very specific kind of tofu. So I like medium firm, smooth tofu if possible. The firm one, I find the texture is almost a little too chalky, a little too dense, but soft is too soft and it just falls apart in your curry. So medium, I think, is just the perfect balance, absorbs flavor well, melts in your mouth, adds creaminess. It's just beautiful. So I've got some coconut milk here in this pot. And by the way, if you haven't seen my 101 video about coconut milk, I highly recommend it. I talk about how to choose the best coconut milk for cooking, which I am using in this recipe. So I'm gonna let this reduce, as per usual, reduce until it's thick, and then the coconut oil will actually start to separate out from the coconut milk. So this is exactly where you want it to be. You see how in the edges, you can see that the coconut oil, clear coconut oil, is separating from the coconut milk. And then I'm gonna add my curry paste. And so the curry paste that I'm using is just store-bought for today. But when you are buying Thai curry paste at the store, make sure you read the ingredients, because some brands will have shrimp paste added to it. And so, that's not vegetarian. You can also make your own. I have a recipe for how to make it. Just make sure you omit the shrimp paste, and you can either just leave it out altogether or add some miso paste instead if you happen to have it. I wouldn't go and buy a thing of miso just for that. Now, as you can see, the coconut oil is basically frying the paste, which is what we want. Now, here's my secret ingredient: tomato paste. That's right. Now, before you freak out and panic, what is she doing? Tomatoes is something that we put in red curry in Thailand anyway, and so the flavors work. Now, the special thing about tomatoes is one of the few plant foods that's really high in glutamate, which is that umami factor. And when you start taking animal products out of a dish, you also lose a lot of glutamate as well. So by adding this tomato paste, which is basically like umami concentrate, you really add that oomph factor back into the curry. Okay, so that's my little secret right there. And I'm not adding a lot, so you're not gonna taste this like a tomatoey curry. I'm just adding enough for it to be, I wonder what that is, but it's so good. The oil is separating from the paste. I'm going to add now the rest of my coconut milk, and I'm also going to add about 1 cup of the mushroom water that we had from earlier. I don't want to add too much and have the flavor of the mushroom be overpowering, but this also has a lot of umami flavor in there. Now I'm gonna give this some time for the curry paste to dissolve into the liquid. So the broth is boiling now. Let's season this thing. So instead of fish sauce, I'm gonna go in with soy sauce. I like to add just a dash of Golden Mountain sauce. It's another type of soy sauce, but the flavor is different. And I find the flavor a little sharper, a little more, oh, it's hard to explain, but more intense. And I think just a little bit of it in this curry really, really works. Okay, so just a couple of dashes. Whoop. Sweetness, we're gonna need some palm sugar just to balance out all of that saltiness. Some kaffir lime leaves, okay, these ones right here. I'm just going to roughly tear just to bruise them, get all the flavor out. That really brightens up, gives more life to the curry. And now all our nuggets are going in. So the mushrooms and the bamboo shoots. And at this point, I'm gonna add the tofu, but notice I add the tofu last. Once you add the tofu, I try not to like stir it too much, otherwise the tofu starts breaking, because even though this is medium firm, it's not firm. And spread them out so you don't have to stir in order to spread them out later. So now I'm just gonna ever so gently push things around so the the tofu becomes submerged. And it's looking just a little thicker. I'm gonna add a little more of that mushroom broth just to thin things out. Even though this is technically cooked and all ready to eat, you want to give it time to simmer so that the tofu has time to absorb the flavor, and so do the bamboo shoots. So you always want to give a chance for ingredients to get to know each other before you eat them, okay? It smells so good in here right now, you have no idea. And it's been about 10 minutes. I find that that's the minimum, but that's enough. 10 minutes is enough for the tofu to start to get flavorful. Now, for some color, I'm adding these interesting looking peppers. I'll show you the pepper in a second. And they just need like another minute or so. And here's what the guy looks like. So at the store, this was labeled long red pepper. And I don't know if that's just my Asian grocery store being typical or it's actually called long red pepper. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. So I'm gonna just turn this off now. I've got some Thai basil here. This is so important. This is going to add a floral aroma that is absolutely crucial in the deliciousness of this curry. Ooh. And the residual heat will wilt the basil. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Yeah. Over some hot jasmine rice. One thing to be careful about tofu is when tofu is hot, it is really hot and it stays hot for a really long time. So gotta open it up and air it out a little bit. I am telling you, there's something so satisfying between the creaminess of the tofu that essentially melts as soon as you start chewing it, and the chewiness of the mushrooms, like together, so good. And that sauce, it's so flavorful. And it's all in the little decisions that you make, right? The little, the little bit of tomato paste, and the choice of doing both soy sauce and Golden Mountain sauce, and the choice of dried mushrooms over fresh mushrooms. All these things make such a big difference. So I really hope you give this a try, whether or not you're vegetarian. I think this is such a delicious dish in and of itself. The recipe, as always, will be on hutthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an episode, and make sure you click that little bell icon so you get a notification every time I post a new video. And if you love the show, you want to support us, check out our Patreon link in the description below, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.